Let me tell you something that pain tried to make you forget. Your worth was never up for debate. Not when they overlooked you, not when they walked away, not when they failed to choose you, not when they talked down to you, not when life broke your heart, not when you made mistakes, and not even when you started questioning yourself. Your worth did not decrease because somebody failed to recognize it. Your value did not disappear because someone mishandled you. Your identity was never supposed to be built on the opinions of people who did not have the wisdom to see who you really were. If you've been carrying the weight of rejection, if you've been trying, or if you've been living like you have something to prove, if you've been trying to earn the right to feel valuable, this message is for you. Today, we're going to break that lie. Today, we're going to expose that false belief. Today, we're going to remind your soul of something heaven has already settled. Your worth was never up for debate. I want to welcome you back to the channel, and if you would please subscribe, like, and share this video. If this message reaches you at a time or at the right time, take a moment and subscribe, because this space is here to encourage you, to strengthen you, and to remind you that you are not alone in what you're carrying. And today I want to talk to the person who has been silently struggling with self-worth. The person who smiles in public but question themselves in private. The person who keeps showing up for everybody else while silently wondering, am I enough? The person who has been measuring their value by who stayed, who left, who cared, who called, who forgot, who applauded, and who criticized. Let me say it plainly. You were never created to build your self-worth on human approval. That foundation is too unstable. Why? Because people change. People project. People misjudge. People misunderstand. People can only see from the level of their own healing, their own maturity, and their own projection. So when broken people mishandle you, that doesn't mean you're worthless. It means that they were operating from brokenness. And too many good people have spent years standing in the courtroom of public opinion, waiting for a verdict that should have never had the power over them in the first place. One of the biggest lies we believe is this: if they rejected me, something must be wrong with me. But rejection is not always proof of your lack. Sometimes rejection is simply proof of mismatch. Sometimes rejection is proof of timing. Sometimes rejection is protection. Sometimes rejection has more to do with them than it ever had to do with you. Everybody who leaves you is not proof that you were unworthy. Everybody who betrays you is not evidence that you lacked value. Everybody who ignores your heart is not a final statement about your identity. Some people can sit in the presence of something rare and still fail to recognize it. This is not a reflection on the thing's value, it's a reflection of the observer's blindness. A diamond does not become less precious because someone mistaked it for a rock. Gold does not lose its value because it's buried underground. And you do not lose your worth because somebody lacked the depth to honor you correctly. Some of you have been bleeding from rejection for so long that you started rewriting your story around what hurt you. You started shrinking. You started over explaining. You started people pleasing. You started settling. You started begging for crumbs because someone along the way, pain, convinced you that crumbs were all you deserve. But hear me clearly. You do not have to beg for what should be given freely in healthy relationships. You do not have to audition for love. You do not have to perform for dignity. You do not have to prove your humanity to be treated with respect. Rejection hurts. Let's be honest about that. It cuts deep, it shakes your confidence, and it can make you question everything. But do not let a painful experience become a permanent identity. You were rejected, but you're not rejection. You are abandoned, but you're not abandonable. You are overlooked, but you are not invisible. You were wounded, but you're not worthless. Your mistakes did not cancel your value. Now, let's talk to the person who isn't just battling rejection from others, you're battling regret within yourself. Because sometimes the loudest voice questioning your worth is your own. Sometimes it's not what they said, it's what you keep saying to yourself. I should have known better. I messed up too badly. I ruined it. I'm disappointed in myself. Maybe I'm not who I thought I was. And regret has a way of turning one mistake into a false identity. You made a bad decision, and now you think you're a bad person. You had a setback, and now you think you're a failure. You fell short, and now you think you have no value left. But mistakes are events, they are not your name. Failure is an experience, it's not your identity. Pain is a part of your story. It's not the totality of who you are. Your worst moment did not become your permanent definition. Let me say that again because somebody needs it deep in their spirit. Your worst moment did not become your permanent identity or your permanent definition. You can own what you did without condemning who you are. You can take responsibility without destroying your identity. You can repent, learn, rebuild, and grow without deciding that you are beyond repair. Broken choices do not erase God's given worth. And this matters because when people believe they are worthless, they start living beneath what they were created for. They tolerate disrespect. They stay in toxic relationships or cycles. They sabotage opportunities. They talk themselves out of healing and they accept pain as if pain is all they deserve. Why? Because behavior eventually follows belief. If I believe I'm nothing, I will settle for almost anything. This is why healing your view of yourself matters. This is why renewing your mind matters. This is why you cannot keep rehearsing lies that pain taught you. Because the way you see yourself affects what you allow, what you pursue, what you recover from, and what you believe is possible. Stop tying your worth to productivity. Some of you don't measure your worth by relationships, you measure it by performance. If you're productive, you feel valuable. If you're winning, you feel secure. If you're achieving, you feel like you matter. But the moment you slow down, the moment you fail, the moment you don't hit the goal, the moment you're not needed, you started feeling empty. That is dangerous because if your worth is built on what you produce, then every quiet season will feel like an identity crisis. You are more than your output. You are more than your title. You are more than your paycheck. You are more than your platform. You are more than your accomplishments. You are more than what you can do for people. And I know some of us were trained to think the opposite. Some of us learned early that attention came when we performed. Praise came when we achieved. Affection came when we hit it right or when we got it right. Validation came when we were useful. So now, even as adults, we carry that same exhausting mindset. I have to keep doing more to deserve love. I have to keep providing or proving myself to be enough. I have to earn rest. I have to earn acceptance. I have to earn worth. But no, you don't. Working hard has value. Discipline has value. Growth has value. We're going to end this right here, but we still have plenty to say. So be looking out for part 2 of Your Worth Was Never Up for Debate. Share this video, subscribe, and stay tuned.